I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to cell block 1.
He's such a Peter Pan. He's such a grown-up boy. And it's like, it's tiresome.
We hate the bitches you fuck cause they confuse themselves with real women. Then notice I said we, it's not just me.
Okay, today's episode, as you can tell, will be about Iceman, the Iceman, Drake. Have you heard recently some of the criticism, some of the discussions about it? Do you find yourself sometimes agreeing?
Just said Drake sounds like he made a voice note that was accidentally stretched over a beat.
Sometimes feeling uncomfortable with even a take you agree with, whether that's positive or negative. Kendrick's the same. Do you often feel like it's too biased?
GNX album gives me that Piff mixtape era type vibes. Kendrick still sounds like a starving artist with something to prove, but yet at the same time, it feels as though his confidence is at an all-time high.
Too inflated, too exaggerated, sometimes hypercritical. See, today's episode, we're going to discuss really the evolution of hip-hop, and our vehicles is Drake really, but also Kendrick and that beef, J. Cole's role in it. All of that will be explored and more today. Before we get into the episode, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. In order for the channel to grow, it's going to need your support. It's going to need your subscriptions, your comments, your likes. All of that is critical for this channel to do well, critical for this channel to continue. So please engage if you enjoy it. Even if you don't, just hit the like button. It does me a favor. Do something nice for someone.
Did you listen to Iceman, the new...
I listened to some of it. My engineer was horrendous. My homies actually sat there and they lost an hour of their life for this shit.
Firebar. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. This level of rapping is why I say it's better than 5 a.m. in Toronto.
It's all bullshit. There's no entendres there. It's all word references and puns, but it's not actually like poetic triple entendres. Like,
see, I think there's no better place to start than the discourse, the conversations around this subject matter. The conversations around this subject matter, the conversations that perpetuate it. There are people that I am genuine fans of, people that have helped me along this YouTube journey that sometimes I look at their page and it feels like a fan page. If you take DJ Academics, for example, some of the things he says about Drake, it feels like he's talking about a dear leader. He's talking about a sovereign dictator.
The guy took over an entire city. Bro, did you see the guy recorded a music video in the mayor's office? He wrote the mayor a note. Like, the mayor is acknowledging this. I was riding around with this guy, and we're going down, and we have like these SUVs that he had sent to get us, but he's like, nah, come roll with me. And y'all hop up in this SUV. This is Glazing now. Like, this crazy, like, exquisite, like, presidential limousine type of thing. And I promise you, this is how the nigga moves. Nigga, this is gonna sound mad glazing. There's no way to make it sound non-glazing. Yo, I'm driving with this man in the car. At first, it's just like a whole caravan. Like, this nigga really moves like that. Bruv, I felt like every time it was a red light, it turned green for the one car gang. I'm like, yo, is there a nigga with a button here?
Even people like Anthony Fantano, for me, at times he sounds, and I enjoy most of his critiques, even when I disagree. But when it comes to Drake, he feels a touch more biased, a touch more morally aggrandizing.
Still landed essentially on something that reads very clearly as bitter, sad, obsessed, and make-believe.
Morally aggrandizing sometimes. Sometimes it feels like more a moral judgment than artistic call. Torre discusses him as well, and it seems personal.
part of my deep problem with Drake is that there is a white centrism to Drake and his music that to me represents a sort of gentrification of hip hop. Like if Drake continues to be successful and we get more people like that, this is the beginning, the end of hip hop, of like sort of the Elvisization of rock, which ruins it for Black people, and we have to go find something else. Like,
I really feel that the conversation around Drake, even his album, has changed now. It's no longer really just about albums. It feels that, or what your critical opinion is. It seems about narrative. What narrative does this fit? It's funny that Drake has been compared to MAGA because I feel, has been called in alignment with MAGA, even though Drake is apolitical. If you know Drake, he doesn't have a political opinion. I'm sure he can be swayed either way. And to be fair, Toure does say that. But it's funny that that's what he's aligned with, and it feels that Kendrick, Drake, J. Cole, all represent different aspects of the culture and what they align with. And it's no longer just the music, it's the narrative surrounding them. Do you agree with the narrative surrounding them? Objectivity is never pure, but it's completely lost now. It feels as if we are talking to a fan base. It feels like trying to be balanced in a conversation. Even myself, sometimes I'm like, is my take hot enough to get attention online? Have we lost objectivity to hot takes just for something to grab our attention? That's what seems to happen when I hear the Drake Iceman criticism. That's what happens when we discuss Drake or Kendrick. Objectivity is lost, and it's no clearer when discussed or when around Drake, Kendrick, or music.
Top 5 you smoking on, Kendrick? Because my top 5 is Drake, 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 Drake.
Let's have it right. It's some of the criticism about Drake's Iceman. He's released 3 albums, Habibti, Maid of Honor. Are they fair?
Well, I don't think so.
The project is a little bit long. The project, to me, from an emotional standpoint, meanders far too long about his problems with people, his discontent towards how he's been treated, which is fair, but some people's criticisms are crazy.
It's end all be all. He's like,
no. Ain't no people. He makes it seem like this battle is the end all be all.
But once you hear,
no people.
But when you hear this record, have you heard the record in full?
Yes, that's the first record on the album.
When you hear this record though, you don't feel like, okay, that stuff is there in a surface level,
No,
but it's just
all
because he hasn't really gotten into everything else yet.
At the end is when he mentions his father. Everything else is definitely woe is me, cry me a river, they jump me, mommy, but I'm coming back with the chopper on everybody.
They jump me, mommy.
This is what I'm talking about when I say narrative. It's gone from, and these people are supposed to be objective critics, quote unquote scholars of hip hop.
43 songs, 43 skips. He's got that poetry slam talk flow that's horrible.
Every Drake song sounds like a voice note that he accidentally recorded over a beat.
The lyrics are proof that he wrote this stuff, and that's not a compliment.
What the fuck do you mean you're quitting? Who's gonna write my next album?
He's still rebutting Kendrick and mad at LeBron?
Nigga, grow up. Grow up.
Why is the writing so bad? Why is his rapping so bad? Maid of Honor is the best of the 3, but that's like the tallest little person sort of thing. These are all trash that I hope to never hear again.
Sounding closer to fans. I mean, the most ignorant of fans. Drake's flow and delivery is elite. His flow and delivery is elite. Stop it. Stop it. Just stop it. It's good. If you want to argue some of the bars are they a bit overinflated by his fan base, that's fine. But I would think objectively some of the bars are good. People have a problem that Drake spoke about the beef and his issues with people in the music industry far too long. I agree the album length makes it feel even more rumination, meandering over the same problem. The album doesn't feel as if it moves to me in terms of emotionally, and the beats, because they're quite samey, it feels like you're stuck in the same place. But you get called a PDF file on the Super Bowl stage. I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to Cell Block 1. In the biggest rap battle of the century, and you tell me how you would respond.
Yes, exactly.
And you can give the most, I would let it go, most philosophically, psychologically healed answer you want to give. And I would tell you, for the most part, I don't truly believe that. He's allowed to address that issue. We've been waiting for him to address the issue. How he addressed it, how long he stayed in his pissed off lane, you can have a problem with. But some of these criticisms they really, to me, articulate where objectivity is lost, the over-criticism, over-correction, over-protection of certain fan bases. It's lost. Some of the fans, like I said with DJ Academics, you're lost in the source. But some of them, it's just hating. It's the worst of what you criticize Drake to me.
If I catch flight, it's gonna be direct. We hate the bitches you fuck, cause they confuse themselves with real women. Then notice I said we, it's not just me, I'm what the culture feel.
And this brings me to one of the finest points of the argument about Drake, about Kendrick versus Drake, is I am what the culture's feeling. FD Signified 2 years ago created probably one of the best, and I think maybe the best culture video essay about this subject, perhaps one of the best ones in general about culture. And he said this quote:
"Not for the culture." And that's why, despite the fact that they might have wanted to stop a guy like Drake before he got started, the truth was the way the culture was functioning, Drake was inevitable. Hip hop purists and the culture and the gatekeepers act like Drake snuck in, but the reality is Drake was let in.
Drake was allowed in. And some people who've watched me a few times, all 5 of you, will know that I do go big picture a lot. I do go big picture. And I don't mean that to absolve Drake of what he is, but Drake was allowed in. Drake was welcomed in. So when Kendrick says, I'm what the culture's feeling, and people articulate that too, talk about what Drake represents. You've seen that in Torre's criticism, in Anthony Fantano's criticism. People that I agree with generally, they forget Drake is created. And they forget, if we go back to 2009 to 2012, when Drake was first coming in, how Drake was spoken about. Drake was seen as soft. His masculinity constantly criticized. I remember Charlamagne flat out questioning his sexuality.
I hate that song, by the way. I think that shit is so corny, that no new friends shit. The reason I think it's corny, because that's some shit a third grade girl would say. No new friends, no new friends, no new friends, no, no, no. Who talks like that? Even it started from the bottom. Fuck a fake friend where your real friends at. That's some shit a group of females say.
Because I always say it's 3 sexual orientations out here. It's gay, straight, and Drake. And Drake is just a whole different type of breed. It don't got nothing to do with nothing other than he's just a different type of breed, man.
Often called too emotional. If you remember the callbacks to the Drake makes raps for people that are like this, or Drake be like, those kind of memes. Those traits are being untraditionally masculine, emotional, engaging in different R&B beats. Although Kanye is the person that popularized it and made it cool, Drake just took it further. Drake was criticized in a way that Kanye was never criticized. Drake was criticized in a way that Kendrick has never been criticized. Kendrick is criticized for being preachy, sometimes a bit boring, a bit different, but not in the way Drake has. And we have to understand, if we are what the culture is feeling, the culture criticize and almost try to spit out Drake for not being traditionally masculine, for being emotional. And really, that's stuff that is praised today. So I asked, are we surprised Drake became what he became? He made those choices himself, but do we understand the environment that cultivated? And even myself, a part of the joke making, is it that preposterous?
What does the world want? They have to sit their politically correct ass down and figure out what it is they want, because they bullshit.
There is a massive myth surrounding, a massive myth that really goes at the heart of some of my issues. Real. What's real? It's something in FD Signifies and what the culture feeding video he discussed about gangster rap. The industry for a long time has created fake people, cultivated images. A lot of artists are industry made or industry polished. by the time you've heard of them. Some of our favorite and most legendary artists they have a cultivated image of what they are. Tupac went to art school, apparently the biggest gangster in the world. Although, two things can be true, but he went to art school, he wrote poetry. NWA were never the big bad gangsters that people, or how they were portrayed in the 90s. Jay-Z, the drug dealing past, has always been at least slightly inflated. Dare I say, most of Jay-Z's image has been slightly inflated and very exploitative of us, the consumer, but that is a point for another day. A lot of rappers sell a character. They don't give you their true persona. A lot. It's not just Drake. And I wonder, when did Drake become the vehicle for our frustrations of that? When did that moment happen? Was Kendrick just such a great storyteller that he made Drake that? Is Drake the exaggeration, the almost chimera creation of all of that, where we just got fed up? That's just a question I put out there. But at the very least, I will argue and say this, that Drake is merely a successful reflection of some of the worst tropes of hip hop. And I find the criticism of him without addressing that is harsh, to say the least. And especially when you don't realize Drake before the mega stardom. And it does take me back to one of his lines when he says, I wish I could go back to Drake when he was innocent. I guess we won't be seeing him again. And it does make me think, sometimes we don't realize that the culture almost is a part of the reason this monster was created.
When it hasn't been your day, your week, your month, or even your year, I'll be there for you. When the rain starts to fall, I'll be there for you. Like I've been there before, I'll be there for you. Like you're there for me too.
One unavoidable fact, one unavoidable reality is that Drake, Kendrick, and to a lesser degree, J. Cole, but Drake and Kendrick are married together. Their criticisms, their conversations are always going to be together. They are now the hip-hop version of Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi. They are Michael Jordan and LeBron James. They are forever wedded together in comparison. And the problem is that they are compared. And it's something that I've lived through with Ronaldo and Messi. I spent years saying Messi was better. And then and we will get there. We will get to a point where we realize we needed both.
That people try and make comparisons of who's better, etc. Just enjoy them, man. We're lucky
very
to be in
different
this time.
football.
Drake makes music for the moment. Drake makes music soundtracks of the day. He makes albums and songs that you drive back with after the party, after a breakup, after an argument, whether it goes good or bad. Kendrick makes music that is more story driven. He makes not albums for the moment, albums for the decade. They come a little bit fewer than the Drake one. Undoubtedly, Drake is a hit maker, but Kendrick is a storyteller. I go back to Kendrick albums. I don't just go back to songs. I go back to songs with Drake, like No New Friends, and I think I remember where I was when I heard that. While Kendrick makes me reflect, he holds the mirror up to me. That is generational talent. We needed both. They are married together. They have both now entered the lane where they become hyper criticized. People, and I've said this myself, it's funny Drake is criticized for his behaviors, hypersexualizing women, his toxicity. But the first rendition of this side of the beef came on like that. Kendrick on a tune with Future. Future portrays the same image, perhaps worse. But we forget that they are two sides of the same coin. They feed the same ecosystem. They are both as needed as each other, and they are both as important. And it will come full circle. I give you my word that it will come full circle. That we will look at them and say, we needed both.
You get up on your little 21-inch screen and howl about America and democracy. There is no America. There is no democracy. There is only IBM and ITT and AT&T and DuPont, Dow, Union Carbide, and Exxon. Those are the nations of the world today. We no longer live in a world of nations and ideologies, Mr. Beale. The world is a college of corporations, inexorably determined by the immutable bylaws of business. The world is a business, Mr. Beale.
The question I want to ask is, who won the beef? People say Kendrick. Yeah, he won. He won. But really, as you can tell from that clip, the true winner are the labels, are the corporations. Kendrick got richer. Drake will get a bigger deal. Streaming numbers became more weaponized. They've been essentially manufactured. If you saw some of the stuff that fell out with Spotify and the numbers that they leaked.
Now, Spotify also tried to make a similar claim with regards to some music from Iceman, saying that Make Them Cry, the opening track on the new record, was the biggest debut a single track had seen in 2026. Now, when the final first week numbers and chart positions come in on Tuesday, no doubt that song is going to do really well. In fact, I think among most people, even Drake's biggest haters, his chart success this coming week is pretty much a guarantee. It's a sure bet. So when this claim originally came out, nobody was really questioning it. Well, nobody except the BTS fans who know the numbers of their favorite artists' songs and debuts and chart positions like the back of their hand, which is why they came with receipts, saying, hey, wait a second, when it comes to first day numbers for a single or a single track, aren't the numbers behind the BTS song Swim actually higher? And it turns out they were actually correct. The K-pop fans, the BTS fans knew what was up. And Spotify, in a very, I think, dishonest and shady way, took to the internet to do a bit of an apology, walking that commentary back, but kind of like hit it as a reply under another tweet about Drake's first day streaming numbers. The initial streams review process was completed manually, resulting in streams from two different tracks being combined. Drake continues to hold the record for most streamed artist and album in a single day in 2026. We apologize for the error and have implemented updated review procedures to prevent similar issues in the future.
You can see that streaming numbers have become more and more weaponized more than ever before. They are skewing and bending headlines using just the right wording to give someone enough push, making people feel more susceptible and a greater need for these streaming platforms, even though these bigger artists have the resources, have the connections enough to probably branch out on their own. But because of the stage that this created, because of the absorbent wealth that was given around to Drake, Kendrick with the Super Bowl performances and going on tour, people are not realizing that now. People assume that they need the streaming platform. And there is a point in which...
Why do we think he put 3 albums out? I think it's to get out of his deal. And I think he could effectively be out of that deal as it stands. And I'm glad...
What does Drake do if he leaves UMG, Universal Music Group? He had a dispute with them. We'll see what happens with that.
Like, I got scared when I saw the Michael Jackson glove on his album cover.
You read my brain.
Like, I got scared because album covers mean things, words mean things. You could will some things to you. And we have so much evidence of anybody that's ever been in a similar position to Drake that were fighting for their rights and fighting for their independence and what we normally see happen to them.
I gotta say, I thought it like, yo, dog, and you're trying to lead a whole new group of people into this way of thinking.
But I don't think, let's see what happens with that, because that's a very interesting state of play. But I don't think Drake is going to be the liberator for music and musical artists. Sorry, if you think that, you're very optimistic. It's important to say the real winner are the corporations, and it's sad that we often don't realize the bigger game being played.
What you think? Bro, can you back up, bro?
Yeah, my fault. What you?
Man, you not even crying, bitch. You didn't even listen to the album.
My apology came before it took that turn. Let's
Right.
remember that.
Right.
Like,
and there's also the conspiracies or the theories that, like, you know, people gave you the heads. I don't know how true it is, but like,
it's not true.
Like,
It's a straight lies. Like,
yeah.
I wish we could do a whole season of 7 p.m. in Brooklyn and just go debunk every
J. Cole
every lie that was every lie. I'm so glad you said that.
And do you know who really won at the end of this? The individual that really won? The person where I've called for this, people have spoken about this, the lack of authenticity in this world. The artist that did that, unequivocally, is J. Cole, Jermaine Cole. I meant to say Jermaine Cole, but Jermaine Cole works. Jermaine is cold. He admitted to being wrong. He admitted to doing something for the attention, the buzz, the algorithm.
One, I was in the wrong because I misrepresented myself and how I feel about this person to the world. Period, point blank. That's the first wrong. But the wrong that supersedes that is the reason why I did the wrong.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I did the wrong was the wrongest wrong of all. I did that wrong, misrepresented myself, boom, 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 because I was afraid that if I didn't come out and do something at least, say something, like at least try to make it seem like I'm doing this, then this thing that I've been working on for 8 years at the time, this album that I've been working on and was done at that time, will come out and they not gonna let me put it out.
The timing, yeah.
They gonna say, nope, we don't wanna hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, nigga, you still ain't addressed, dude. We don't wanna hear that shit. So my fear of fucking up the public reception of this thing that I've been working so hard on, like looking back, I give myself a little grace. Like I understand why I had the fear. I've been working on it for mad long and I was also tired and exhausted. And my thought was, oh no, this shit that I've been doing that I'm so proud of, if I put this out without saying something, I did it for nothing, damn near. It's a bad, and that's a bad thought.
He's the most vulnerable. He admits to playing a character.
How I say I'm the best on songs. It's like, ask me in real life, do I think I'm the best rapper alive?
Do you think you're the best rapper alive?
Bro, it's a nigga named Black Thought that exists. It's a nigga named Lupe Fiasco that exists.
Damn, what does he get called?
This is not no proprietary information. I'm just a nigga. Brother, I think both Kendrick and Drake look at you like a fuck nigga. Straight up, you're the worst type of person, J. Cole. And as much as there's something I like about you because you do have this positive energy. Niggas like you should be nowhere near conflict because the lack of picking a side and towing the line is backdoor vibes.
Soft, weak, scared, by DJ academic standards, a fuck nigga. And he's the person that did the thing that we ask artists to do all the time. And that's play your game. Don't play the industry game. And he's criticized for it. Kind of forever sort of forgotten in the story, but he's not really forgotten, but he's like a lost winner, a lost story, a lost triumph for authenticity. Dare I say, he might have had the best album out of the three. That's an opinion. You can disagree, that's fine. But he put out a top tier project. And it's compared, but he's still looked at as being fake and as being a fuck nigga, being scared and weak when he was genuinely honest. When he was wrong, he didn't double down. And people criticize Kanye all the time. But when we see someone like J. Cole do something what is actually emotionally intelligent, which is actually brave, he's criticized.
Like, is Kendrick Lamar your biggest competition, like, in this generation or whatever? And I think that Kendrick has, like, the utmost potential, man. Like, you know, I see Kendrick tomorrow, I'm going to dap him. I didn't feel a way about that verse.
I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to sell black one.
I still, like, when it comes to competition, I'm more worried about consistency. I'm more worried about bodies of work.
Awarded to Damn by Kendrick Lamar. A virtuosic song collection. A virtuosic song collection.
I'm very mindful of this being an outright defense of Drake. I'm very mindful of this being a conversation where I say it's everyone else's fault and not Drake. Drake does have some issues. There's a reason why he lost the beef. Many reasons, but there's one massive reason. And Drake lacks self-awareness. Might be a slight reflection of hip-hop as well, but we'll get to that. But his biggest issue was a lack of self-confrontation. Now you may say, where do you get that from? The line in Family Matters, which is one of the better tunes of the beef, by the way. Perhaps you could argue the best, definitely top 2 with There and Not Like Us. But he says, Kenny keeps rapping like he's getting the slaves free. Who are the slaves? Who are the slaves you're talking about? Drake says in his new album, on the first song, this line. On Make Them Cry, he says, I don't do psychedelics because I'm too scared of unpacking. Sometimes I only see myself in my therapist's glasses. I'm not taking it too serious because she's very attractive. Kendrick said in Meet the Grahams, perhaps the most psychologically dismantling of a rap I've ever seen. Therapy's a lovely start, but I suggest some ayahuasca. Strip the ego away from the bottom. The line before that, I have to say, is Kendrick speaks about soliciting women. You solicit women too much. You over-sexualize black women. And Drake, Make Them Cry, first song, was that line. Unintentional faux pas, unintentional revelation of his character, but damning. Drake's issue wasn't talent. Drake is a great barrer. If you want to say he's not an S-tier rapper, that's fine. But he's definitely a great rapper. He can string lyrics together, ghostwriting aside. His flow and delivery is pretty great. But his lack of self-awareness is why he sounds like he's stuck in a time loop. His lack of self-awareness is why the album meandered. His lack of self-awareness is why he lost the beef. His lack of self-awareness is why the UMG lawsuit looks like a flaming crybaby throwing his toys at the pram. That's the biggest issue. That's the scary thing about Drake, that he doesn't feel like he's grown up since maybe, if you're reading this, it's too late. And that was almost 10 years ago. If not 10 years ago. I don't have the exact numbers on my head. Or to my mind, sorry. It's scary. But we have to admit that it's somewhat a reflection of hip-hop itself. It's a reflection of what the culture is. The culture is at one point and at some points politically aware, calling out over-policing, calling out hypersexualization of black women, and then sometimes celebrates hyperconsumerism, in fact encourages hyperconsumerism. Social justice movements, and then sometimes by the same person, talking about something like get money at all costs. It praises the hustle story, the rags to riches stories, without realizing the point of it, why that even exists.
Getting it, they try to lock us out of it. They start inventing words like, capitalist and, things like that. I mean, we've been called nigger and monkeys and shit. I don't care. Those words y'all come up with, y'all got to come up with stronger words. When I say y'all, I'm not talking about you. The words they come up with, they got to come up with stronger words. We're not going to stop.
Jay-Z's billionaire narratives, Jay-Z's conversations, sometimes his almost disdain towards poor black people. Kanye in general represents the culture in its beautiful, dark, twisted tomfoolery. Yes, he's finally been called out. Finally. And then gets praised sometimes as well. It's strange. Akon City, random intrusive thought. What happened to Akon City? I know people have done stuff on it, but that was so exploitative. Even his conversations leading up to it, it was like, I'm giving game to the community. Hip hop has its own identity crisis. The culture is fragmented, broken apart, and lost. To top it all off, we give people like Dame Dash, who I'm pretty sure turns up drunk on some of these podcasts.
So The Godfather 2,
It was his little brother. It was Fredo. So right now, if we were saying what character is Cam in this movie, because he botched up a hit. They tried to hit him. His brother tried to get him hit, but they missed. Cam is Fredo. He's Cameo.
A mic to rant endlessly. If we have not become a spoof of the Boondocks cartoon, I don't know what the fuck we've become then. And Boondocks was a spoof of hip hop. And I believe the culture's become a spoof of that.
I did battle with ignorance today, and ignorance won. I admit that I'm often vexed at the behavior of my own people. Yeah, vexed is a good word. You do what you can to help black folks, and they make you wonder why you even bother. But they're our people, and we gotta love them regardless. One thing for sure, though, can't blame this one on the white man. What am I saying? Of course I can't.
And that's because Torre said this about Drake.
And, you know, certified lover boy, whatever, could have been pushed up here. Like, there's no development in his perspective, not really much of a development in his vision of the world or of rapping or of music. And the people who are streaming at his level, Beyonce, Taylor, like, these are artists who are specifically making significant changes. He's such a Peter Pan. He's such a grown-up boy. And it's like, it's tiresome. It's tiresome. I mean, like, I find him boring. I find this look of the sweatsuits and the track suits with the braids, and like, that is so young.
Drake's not the problem, man. Drake is not the problem. Hip hop is afraid to grow up. It's ageist. It's obsessed with use and youth. It chews up and spits out its legends. It doesn't even have a true path with them. It praises exploitative behavior. It praises paranoia. Things that are just toxic for your mental health, generally speaking. It platforms that. It celebrates that. And that can be the music industry as a whole. But you are not going to sit here and criticize Drake in the manner that you do without realizing that hip hop itself is Peter Pan. Hip hop is Peter Pan. And I've been reflecting on how to conclude this episode for so long. And I wonder, what was the aftermath of Drake's and Kendrick's beef? Do we have more lyricists? We always had quite a few. Do people dissect bars more? A little bit more, and that's quite fun to see, even though sometimes it feels like, is it the dead internet because everyone's doing it the same? Well, sometimes it feels like the dead internet theory is true because it feels as if everyone is doing it the same. And perhaps this was what the culture always was. The culture had its initial roots in anti-establishment, but quickly became established. And rappers had to do things to make money because initially they were broke, and many of them still are. Perhaps the culture was always this beautiful clusterfuck of so much different stuff. Different aspects of social justice movements, get money, political awareness, hyper-consumerism, contradictory in every sort of way. And I just feel as if Drake was pinned for that, without realizing the culture itself perpetuates that and has been perpetuating that way before his time. Maybe the culture was just a long time ago. Maybe the culture was always just that. Well, with that, I'm going to say like, comment, share, and subscribe. Please, if you enjoyed the episode, put into the comments what you like. Put into the comments what you want to hear next. And I will Put this underneath Lord's. I'm out.
For their sorrow, for their culture, for their music, for their happiness, for their movies, to talk about boys in the hood. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be I don't want to be 50 years old at a BET We Shall Overcome Achievement Awards. You know what I'm saying? Not me. You know, I want when they see me, they know that every day when I'm breathing, it's for us to go farther. You know, every